My story is so typical for people in blue collar in general, So I came up, I struggled in school, I had ADHD. I didn't care. I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment right behind my shop and I walked to work. I sold my toolbox. I took everything that we had just to make a payroll, just to get through this season in our life. There's no going back. I got to find a way through it. So that's what I did.
You have to put those tools down. You have to take those work boots off if you really want to go. You have to change and say, okay, my new identity is going to be a guy who builds a 20, 50, $100 million business.
All I'm doing is creating value. I don't need anything back. I know that it's going to come back to me tenfold. Doing the right thing. I get to live this life, and I'm super grateful for it.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
I want to recap on some things because I thought a couple things. One thing I notice all the time when I see really successful guys who've done things, $40 million exits, whatever it is, real high level, they're not delusional. They have a mindset like you did of okay, I can admit to myself, I do not know this. And I'm okay, taking a step back to learn this, but then they did it. So this guy's telling you, you need to do this in a month to survive. You go do it in a week. That's so rare because most people, they see it and then they don't go do it.
Right.
And you've been doing this since when you first started. You found something you love and then you're like, okay, I want to be number one at Audi. That's a huge goal. But you started you see it and then you work backwards. That is the way to do it. Where so many guys I see, they have delusion, I'm going to be the biggest in Georgia. I'm going to have the biggest. Why? How are you going to do that? You got to hey, this is what I need to get to. Here's all the things I need to do. And then you decide you're willing to do it. And then we all have ceilings on it. And you have to understand that you have to just keep breaking through them. And you're at new ceilings. Even when you get to 50 million, there's new ones.
Oh, 100%, and I think what's a lot of people have to realize, or what they will realize or not, depending on if they want to break through those ceilings, is this whole idea of people get trapped in the identity of who they are and what they did to get to where they are. So imagine if I got sucked into and I was stuck in the identity of no, I'm that guy, I'm in the shop, I'm turning the wrenches, the customers are coming to me, right? They want me to work on their car. They don't want anyone else touching their car. You get sucked into that and then you'll never be able to get to the next level. And then there's so many levels after that, right? The fact, me knowing how to work on cars is almost completely irrelevant to me now.
Yep.
Right? Every step of the way, you have to disidentify with who you were that got you to where you are so that you can become who you need to be in order to succeed at the next game that you want to play. Right now, I'm having to learn the CEO of a growing company that's trying to grow into the middle market. I'm going to have to start, the whole private equity scene, all of, reporting to boards, it's a completely different skill set. Right. And so at every stage of the game, you've got to be willing to let go of even what you're good at, maybe even what you're great at, to focus on what you're going to need in order to win at that next level. And, it's the only way through, otherwise you'll just get stuck wherever that ceiling is and you'll never go above it.
What happened to you?
Is so powerful, man. It will not let you go above the level of success that you believe that you're allowed to have. It will not let you.
This is crazy. And then this happens so much with blue collar guys, and it happened to me and it happened to you, where you get your identity. Yeah, you're good at this thing. You can do it better than anyone. I'm the only one who can do it right. And you feed that into yourself. So I had a mentor too, and I was doing well. When I would roll up on job sites, we were on roofs and gutters. I was always on those roofs. I could not help myself. I remember I had a pair of brand new Air Force Ones. I didn't have boots, and I was with my girlfriend at the time. We were going. I came back, they were all dirty. I was sweaty. She's like, what the hell are you doing? What are we doing? I was up there for 45 minutes. And I remember I had this mentor. He was like, new rule. What you know on that is irrelevant. He was like, you're capped right there. You cannot go past. But I fought that. I like this, I'm a grinder. I'm gritty. I get in there with my guys. And what you said is so true. It's irrelevant at some point if you want to get to where you're going. You have that knowledge base. That's great. But you have to put those tools down. You have to take those work boots off if you really want to go. You have to change and say, okay, my new identity is going to be a guy who builds a 20, 50, $100 million business.
Yep.
And that guy can't be doing this. There's just not enough time in the day. Another great thing you did was being humble and open and finding a mentor who's done it, listening to him, trusting him, and then going to do it. That's very hard for people to do. I know because I'm sure you've done this. I'll help guys in their own community. I see what their problems are. Say, this is what I would do. And I try to do it. And then I talk to them 6 months later, they didn't do any of it. But then sometimes guys will tell you and you'll be like, you're happy for them. You knew that was going to happen if they did it.
You get a couple, when I was working with my mentor, I ended up, having so much success. I ended up coaching and consulting for him for about 5 years. So coaching other shop owners all across the country. And now we have a huge community, over 1,000 shop owners. We have a huge event every year. It's like 2,500 people. It's coming up, actually. It's called the Shop Hackers event. And we get
Where
big
is it at?
speakers. It's always in Nashville. And we have a good time. And we get, like I said, we get great speakers. We get all sorts of stuff and we have a good time. But, I've been there, right? Like I've coached a lot of shop owners. I've got people reaching out to me probably similar to you, right? Very consistently, maybe every day about like, hey, I got this deal, or hey, how do I set up these lifts, or hey, how do you do that? And it is funny. And occasionally though, like I had a guy come up to me recently at a conference and he was like, hey man, I had a conversation with you like 4 years ago and I thought you were a jerk. And you told me that I could just sell my shop to you and you would run 6 times the numbers out of it. And that pissed me off. So I just want to tell you that I'm running 7 times the numbers out of it now. And I'm like, awesome. You know what? Like, I love that. Like he went and did it. Like, sometimes you got to get mad. Like people need to hear the truth, right? Like what you think is good is just limited to your scope of understanding in that moment. It's like, what do people say? Like any sufficiently advanced technology appears to be magic. I think that can be applied a lot in business where like people are on the lower side of business, or maybe they're just getting started, or they're still working with their hands and they can't imagine what it's like to have a business at a certain level or a certain amount of success, because there's so many layers to it and they're so far away from it, they can't see it. They can't even imagine it. Right. And like, that's why you have to you got to so aggressively work towards that and start breaking through each one of those layers or ceilings so that you can get there and start putting all these skills together. Otherwise you'll just get stuck. And like, you and I know like blue collar, like it can be this golden opportunity with all of this success because the bar's so low. All you have to do is go in there, take good care of your people, take good care of your customers, and, the world is your oyster. But there's also a lot of people out there that are stuck in it, and they're probably having less success operating their businesses than when they were just getting paid to do the job by somebody else. And, I feel like there's a calling or a duty that we have to like try and help bring these people up so that they can have that success. And, and these are the kinds of things, it's mindset stuff. It's little stuff, but it all adds up.
The mindset thing is crazy because I like to buy businesses and then put in operators. And I'll tell you what works best. It might sound weird, but I like to take guys, a lot of times white collar guys who've worked for big corporations because they think very big and they think 5 million revenue. Like, I don't know, that's nothing. Whereas when you take a guy who's a tech, so say I get guys message me like, hey, I'm working for this guy. I'm HVAC. I've been doing it 12 years. He's looking to sell. I love those deals too. Yeah. But that guy has to realize he can't just buy the business and grow it. Like they say, I'm going to 10X it. Okay, how? They just say stuff. And so I love the guys who like, hey, I believe I can do this and increase revenue by 40% in this. And they have a whole plan. Now I'm listening to you. I'll invest in those guys at some point. Yeah. But you can't just... They understand like, okay, I have to become something different. I already got the tech part down. I have to do this. And I see a lot of blue collar guys struggle because they worked for someone and they were good. They were the number one tech. They had the most billing and everything. So they think they're just going to go out and start something. And then they don't understand how to get leads, what customer acquisition costs are, how to price stuff. They're just winging it. And I'm sure there's tons of guys listening to this like, damn, either they are in that spot and super frustrating, or they were like us, they were there and then you figure it out. but you got to get outside information to figure that out. And the best way to me to do it is find somebody who actually did it. Go ahead and pay them to do it. If you find somebody and you have a connection with somebody who's done it and they want to help you for free, that's great. But that's the fastest way in life to do things.
Yeah.
Find somebody else who's done it, what you want to do, and then get borrowed belief, copy them, ask them tons of questions, be valuable to them. You can go so much faster.
Belief, borrowed confidence, and like you see it everywhere. Like you'll see these guys that are like, oh, coaching is only for, wimps who like don't want to like, and these guys are so overconfident. They're like, yeah, hey bud, like that sounds cool. Like, what's your revenue? And then you get into these like communities, it's like getting humble, being able to get out of your own way. Like if this is what you really want to do, like I believe there is a direct correlation between how vulnerable you're willing to be and how quickly you can grow. And, these people that are too high and mighty, too good for it, you're not going to see them succeeding at the levels as the humble guys that are willing to go learn. And, the thing is, it's like, it's all just numbers and math, right? Like at the end of the day, like if you understand the economics of your business, the units, how it moves, like you see it, it's like the numbers are the boss, right? Like it's not emotional. It doesn't care about your feelings. Like my business is so easy to break down. Like you can look at any shop. I'll just put this out for anybody that wants it. Okay. You want to know how much business any shop is doing. Here's the super, super easy math. How many technician toolboxes are in the back of the building? Okay. That represents your bucket of how much mechanical capacity you have. How many labor hours can you run? Okay. If you've got 3 technicians and on average, they're all running 150 hours each, you've got 450 hours of mechanical capacity. And then you say, okay, well, how much revenue can I do off of that? Well, you can either go by your gross profit dollars per hour. You can break it down by your ARO, how many cars you have, what your tech quote is, your close ratio of your service providers. At the end of the day, it's just gross profit dollars, right? And how many hours you can run off those gross profit dollars. And so I know in my industry, average, like not even very good, is like, $140 gross profit per hour, right? Or $150 gross profit per hour. And so then you just multiply those hours by that gross profit. And then you want to know what else is really true in my industry? And a bad gross profit margin is 50%. So then you just double that number. So that is the revenue of that shop, almost, and within margins of like 10 to 20%, depending on if they're like overperforming on their mechanical capacity or selling at a higher margin or whatever the case may be. But like, if you understand and can break down all of the economics of your business, like then you understand how to build it, right? So like, how is it that I can acquire a shop that's doing 70 grand a month and within 90 days, I'm doing 400 grand a month? Same shop. How is that possible, right? All I'm doing is moving the levers that change the economics. Everything is broken down backwards. If you want to do 400,000, what do I need to do? Well, I need 200,000 gross profit. If I want to do 200,000 gross profit, well, what do I need to do? Well, at 150 gross profit per hour, I need to run something like 1,200 hours. If I want to run 1,200 hours, how do I do that? Well, our technicians are, productive. So we want 200 hours per tech. So I need about 6 technicians. And then I need about 2 salespeople to sell that 200,000 gross profit, about 100,000 gross profit each. Bam. That's a shop that does 400K. It took no effort other than putting the pieces into place that are necessary to get the result that you want. Everyone's so afraid of growth. They're so afraid of like going and paying, 150 grand or 250 grand for that high level guy, that high level sales guy, that high level technician. Dude, it's just math. Look at the economics of it. It's a high level technician that costs you 250 grand. Great. He's cost of goods sold. That money's going straight to the bottom line. People just aren't thinking about it that way. They get hung up on the dollar amount and they're not thinking about how many hours that guy's going to turn, the quality of his work, how much easier it's going to be to sell that work because it's higher quality inspections. There's a lot more confidence from the sales guy because like, man, this guy, he's got it, right? The customers have more confidence because they're going to be like, man, this guy really knows his stuff, right? Like all these things add on, like just understanding the unit economics of your business. And all businesses are similar, right? Like you and I could sit down and we could hash through different P&Ls of different types of businesses and be like, oh yeah, this is where I would put that. This is where I put that. And
It's
like,
widgets.
right. Yeah. It's all the same thing, right? We sell parts and we sell labor. Okay. It's not that big a deal. Right. And so I think you just need to know what you need to do. And I think for me, like the crux of it was like, I'm never going to lose money. Right. And like, I think so many people in this day and age, they think like there's all those like bullshit lies out there about like, oh, you know, like you got to have runway and you got to reinvest into the business. And it's like, it's normal to not be profitable. Like, yeah, maybe in Silicon Valley, but like we're working on real shit. Like we need to make real money, and real money is gross profit dollars, not gross profit percentages. You just need to know how many gross profit dollars do I need to make to outrun my overhead and to outrun my debt service, right? Like, and that's your cash flow. And then you can breathe and you can operate from there. But that is like the primary first thing that you have to do. And you've got to be ruthless with that. Like you got to look at every line item on your P&L. You got to look at every person that works for you and you got to say, look, if this disappeared tomorrow, could I operate?
Yep.
I mean, and I know it sounds heartless or whatever, but it's like, do you want to be in business or not? Because how much
Can't help anybody if you're bankrupt.
People or your customers when you're bankrupt.
Yeah, I think that's a tough conversation for people to have on that thing. They don't want to cut stuff, but your job is to build a business that can then function and help other people if that's what you want to do. You can't do it if you're like you were bleeding 50,000 a month. I talk to guys in the DMs, they're bleeding money every month. Sometimes I don't know, do they know they're cooked? Like there's a runway here. This is not forever. It might be 6 months now. And you can't do that. You have to make hard decisions. That's what we have to do as leaders. I love everything you were doing there because it's not just simple, like you got to know your numbers. You're breaking it down. It is economics. It's just numbers. People get too worried about, this guy wants 125. I want to negotiate them to 112. I've talked to people. Just look at the numbers. They get so caught up in other things and worrying about things that just don't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, can you get there without this person? If the answer is no, and you make money on him and it makes sense, then just pull the trigger.
Yeah. I think like hiring A players and like people being willing to like take that, you know, leap of faith. If you understand your numbers, then you realize that it's just a win-win-win. Right. And I think so many people, you know, perceive that as like, as a danger or a liability and like, oh, I won't have any high paid people. Like, I don't have anyone that works in my shops that makes less than $100,000. We're commissioned, bro. If you can't make $100,000 working for us with our systems and our people, like, and what we got going on, like, then you
can't work here.
You can't even cut. Like, that is the minimum. That is the lowest bar, right? And so, like, people need to like change their perspective on some of these things. Like, I have many people that work for me that make $250, $350, right? Selling service and working on cars, right? So, like, and I'm making a killing paying them that well, right? And so people need to kind of think about that quality and the economics. And you gotta, you know how it is, you gotta stop selling from your own pocket. You know, like you were talking about, these blue collar guys, you know, just like me. And I was thinking like, oh man, $1 million, that's a lot of money, right? You know, how do we do that, right? Like, and now it's just like, it doesn't matter how many zeros are on it, man, the math is the math. Right. And so now I'm doing the math and I'm like, okay, I want $1 billion enterprise. What do I got to do? I look at my multiples. I look at what we need to do. I look at what the EBITDA needs to be. I look at how many units I need to have for that. I look at what my unit economics need to be in order to do that. And this isn't a wishy-washy goal. This is a legitimate, hey, this is what we need to do in order to do that. Okay. So we need 100 locations in the next 5 years. Okay. What do we need to do that? Right.
Yeah.
Or we want to be at 100, right? So I need 80 something more units, right? Over the next 4 years. And so then you just break it down, right? Like every step of the way, if you understand the units, you understand the economics, you understand where you want to go, and you allow yourself to like, it's not even a belief, man. It's like, you got to know that you're going to get there, right? Like there's a huge difference between people that like want something and people that know that they're going to get it. Like you don't want to get in the way of those guys, right? And you can see them. It's a subtle difference, but like I know where I'm going, right? And I'm going to get there one way or another. And the truth is you don't have to have it all figured out, right? Like the path is going to get messy. I'm going to get punched in the mouth. I'm going to go through several no man's lands. I'm going to run into situations, but it's how do you respond to that stuff? Like this thing that my mentor taught me is probably the number one thing that he taught me. And it's like always stuck with me. And I'm sorry, he passed away in February in a plane crash. He always taught me, it's the story of the talents. And he would say, to each is given according to their ability. And like, man, that messed with me for so many years. I was thinking like, man, why do these guys have it? Why do these guys have what I want? And then it would come back ultimately to responsibility is your ability to respond to anything that happens in life, right? And then to each is given according to that ability, right? So it's like, if you want more, you got to be able to handle more. People say like, oh, woe is me. I got this, I got that. Bro, I've got stuff that happens on a Tuesday that would put most people in an insane asylum. And it's just a Tuesday for me, right? Like, but this is what I asked for. And I now have the ability to handle that. And so now I'm able to receive more and then to be able to go and do more. But a lot like that's the real magic, right? It's like, can you handle going through the day where you're in control of the day? Are you going to let the day punch you in the mouth? Are you going to let other people, circumstances, economies, customers, whatever it is, are you going to let that take your power away? Or are you going to be the one that's going to go freaking get it, right? Like people get so wrapped up in this little piddly crap that doesn't matter because it's a distraction, because it allows them to not have to take responsibility for the things that they know they need to be doing. So they're out there sweeping floors instead of going and talking to the bank. They're out there working on a car instead of trying to figure out, their P&L, or trying to get in front of like a tax issue, or having a hard conversation with a service advisor that isn't representing the company well. Right? Like they're avoiding things instead of doing what really needs to be done. And I think like when you realize like how powerful it is, you start running towards those things, man. Like I love hard conversations now, man. Like I'm like, I get jazzed up about it. Like, oh, I gotta fire some people. This is gonna be a good time, right? Like, and again, like I feel bad about it because like I'm like, they're not succeeding here. I'm doing them a disservice by keeping them here. Like
you're doing them a favor when you let people go.
This is not. People get too hung up on some of this stuff, right?
Because they're stressed out. They're stressed out where they're doing it because they know it's coming and everything. Those are good conversations. One thing you said I think is so true is what can you handle? And we all see it. Some people can handle it. I think when I look back when I was young, I would let a bad thing or a fire or somebody derail my day. Yeah. I'd still do the work, but mentally I would be pissed off. And then I get in this dark space and I'm not there. And I don't know what it was. It was really after like 2008 and I was over leveraged with real estate. That affected my blue collar businesses and everything. And then I just started really like slowing it down. And I started kind of studying stoicism with Marcus Aurelius and really getting in that mindset. That's how I think every problem now. I'm just so relaxed and everything. I have such a history in my mind of I can get through anything, especially if nobody's dying. Like in my mind of I can get through anything. Like, I'm really sorry to hear about your mentor. There's nothing worse than that because that's really the only problem you can't solve. Everything else is money, it's stress, it's firing people. Most of those things, if you handle them head on, they are not nearly as bad as you thought they were going to be. And it's over. And you feel good about it always when you do it. If you handle that, if you just know to yourself, hey, I have the ability, I have a track record of doing it. And if you don't start doing it because you'll start feeling like that, then it's just the same thing you and I both know. There's so much more shit coming, but we're ready for it because you already did all these things.
You got to put in the reps, and it's the way you look at it. Right. And I think like, and my mentor, he introduced me to the Stoics. Right. And so like, I mean, Marcus Aurelius here, and I've got, and the obstacle is the way and all that. But like, there's this like simple thing in like modern psychology, and like people overlook this so much, and it's called the ABC model. And like the real quick breakdown of this is that the A is something happens, the anteceding event, the trigger, whatever you want to call it. And then people believe that when those things happen, it creates the C, which is the consequence. That's the way that everyone in the world thinks that the world works. But the truth is that it's the B that creates the C. So A occurs, then your belief about whatever happened creates the consequences of it. And what you realize is that we're all running around thinking that, oh, this just happened and these are my results, without even realizing that in the middle of that was a decision that we got to make about it. And so then you start to realize like the power in understanding this is that I get to choose my belief. I can reverse the equation. So now the question I ask myself is, what do I need to believe about this situation in order to have the results that I want? And it takes the same amount of energy to do that as it does to be miserable and down in the dumps and to let your energy get brought down and to think that the world is happening to you. But instead, it puts you back in a position of power. I get to decide what I want to believe about that. And it's like, it's goofy stuff, right? Like you get cut off in a parking lot because you were trying to pull into a parking space and you get all pissed off and you're like, oh my God, this guy cut me off, da, 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 da. And then he gets out of the car and he gets into his wheelchair and you realize it's a handicap spot and it wasn't even for you, right? Like, but for a moment there, you were ready to kill the guy. And then all of a sudden, what changed? Your beliefs about what happened changed. The event didn't change. Nothing else changed. But how do you feel about it, right? One, you're pissed off. You change your perspective a little bit. Now you feel like a jackass a little bit for being pissed off. Absolutely. But you're not mad anymore. But like, that's just a stupid small example, but like you can apply this, like, dude, it's like Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything, right? Like you can apply this to anything in your life. What do you need to believe about what's going on in your situation right now in order to get the results that you want? And like, and this shit can get hard. Like, do you need to believe that your wife has to love you in order to be happy? Do you believe that you need to do certain things or have a certain amount of success in your business in order to be happy, right? Like these aren't just easy things that you have to go through, but this is the real stuff that if you really want to be resilient, if you want to be like mentally tough, this shit makes you like mentally unstoppable because it really does. Nothing can happen that you can't choose to believe what you need to believe about it, that you can't increase your ability to respond. That's that belief part. And I know like this all went a little woo-woo or whatever, but like, I'm just saying like, I can talk about it all day. It's so true. That you have to have in order to succeed and deal with the fact that, you know, otherwise you're just going to get beat up and then you're going to get down on yourself and then you're not going to go do what you need to do. And you just got to say like, man, how is this serving me?
So this goes with, you know, work hard or work smart. To me, when you get your mindset right and you have that type of belief, that's working smart. Because the guy everybody's working hard in here, I would assume. So you can't outwork some of these problems. You have to outsmart them. You have to start looking at them different. And all the things you were saying, some people get caught in that and then they get confirmation bias. They start thinking everything's one way, business sucks. Woe is me, I'm never going to be rich. And then all you do is find other ways to confirm that.
Yep.
But it works the other way because I'm sure you have it. I have it. I have confirmation bias. All I think is all it is getting better. I'm getting smarter. I'm getting better at this. My vision's getting clear. It's getting easier. I literally tell myself that all the time. And then I back it up because that's just been my experience. And I remember I had a mentor tell me that. He says, wait till 5 years from now. He said, in 10 years, that was 12 years ago. He said, in 10 years, you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, this is way easier. This is way better. And that's how I look. 2035 is going to be exciting.
Yeah. It's so funny because it takes that same amount of energy, right? Like, and you get to decide what you want to believe anyway. So like, why do you choose to feel like shit? Why do you choose to beat yourself up? Why do you choose to think negatively? And then, like you said, like this law of attraction stuff, you will bring the bias is that you will only see in the world what you agree with. And honestly, that makes you dumb because then if it sits anywhere outside of like your safe little safety zone, your safety blanket, you know, your area of comfort, then all of a sudden, no, can't do that. And those are those belief systems that are keeping you stuck. Those are those belief systems that are keeping you where you're at. And the reason why you can't just go do these other things and why they seem impossible is because you're not letting those things in. And it does take a shift, man. Like when I was in it, man, like every day I had these little, affirmations I would say. And look, this wasn't anything crazy. It was little things like, I am financially better off every day than I was the day before, right? Like I needed to know, like when I was getting beat up every day and I had people suing me and I had tax collectors and I had all this shit, I was like, you know what? I'm on the grind out. Like this wasn't overnight. It took me years to dig out of this, right? And so and I had to remind myself. And another really good affirmation is like, I have overcome everything that I have ever come across. So then why would I choose to believe that this new thing that comes up, that's going to be the one that takes me out? That one right there, when I've got the evidence that shows that I was able to overcome everything I've ever come across. Like, choose to believe that, right? Like, don't let these things knock you off your horse. Like when you're on a mission and you're trying to go do your thing, like these are the mindsets you have to have in order to be effective on a daily basis. Like as leaders in our companies, like we have a responsibility, we have a duty to be effective, and we don't get the luxury of a pity party. One of the things my mentor would always say is that pressure is a privilege. It's a privilege. We get to do this.
Yes. Be grateful for it. This was incredible. I would love to, if you'd be open to come on our boardroom elite. We meet on Thursdays. I'd love to have you come on, talk about the mindset, talk about unit economics. They would love that if you want to come on. And then tell me about your Nashville event. I'm in Atlanta. I'd love to come out there. I love watching events in different industries and just seeing how they do. I love being around energy of people who fly in and they're trying to get better. It's just been a great time.
It's an awesome experience. Yeah, it's in August 8th through 9th. And I'll be speaking there. We got a lot of great main stage speakers. We got John Taffer from the bar.
I watched Bar Rescue every episode back in the day.
Yeah, we got some cool guys coming out. So
I was wondering what happened to John Taffer. I'm not kidding. I watched every episode. I used to watch it while I built a database.
Like him yelling at people that are getting drunk in their own bars. I'm like,
I like the tough love. Yeah. And I love the turnaround, and it's all wrapped up in an hour for me.
Yeah, I'm addicted to that kind of stuff. But, I love doing that stuff. I love doing these acquisitions. I love, creating opportunities for people. I mean, I've made several dozen multimillionaires, in my life, and I want to make a lot more, and I mean, all I'm doing is creating value. I don't need anything back. Like, I know that it's going to come back to me tenfold. I'm just out here having a good time.
It's your purpose.
Doing the right thing. I get to live this life, and I'm super grateful for it. So,
well, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate this convo. And I've been following you from afar and seeing what you're doing. You're a super humble guy doing huge things. But I'd love to come out and see you speak and see the event. Nashville's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I could do it. All right, I'll connect with you on Messenger. And and if you want to come on Elite and talk and anything we do, I'd love to have you be a part of.
Yeah, I'd love to be in the ecosystem and, see what you guys are doing. And happy to participate.